comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com. It's a Monday night, it's the price variance, and I'm here with everybody's favourite Canadian, Alan, and we are looking at the hottest Silver Age sales of the week. After you finish watching this, and if you haven't already, go and watch Alan's show because there's some crackers on there. We saw the worst performing comic over a period of 3 years ever. Have a guess what it is. Right. I'm going to I'm going to share our screen and let's crack on. Um, there's a clue there to what that comic is. Right. Now then,
That's
this
the chart for it. It's like so bad.
right, Mystery in Space, number
Yeah,
53.
this is a cool book, by the way. Not one that most people know. It's a great cover. It's a
It's a
robot cover.
very good cover.
It's actually the first time you get a Space Ranger, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's his like it's when the becomes his title in a
No,
way.
it's Adam Strange.
Adam Strange. I was like Space Ranger. Don't mind me. That guy, the guy that's right there,
The
Adam
guy, the
Strange.
guy where it says Adam Strange.
Yes. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get so much flack for that. Okay.
Um, but
Adam
I love the
Strange.
cover. It's a great cover, isn't it? Such an
Don't mind me.
action cover. Look at that. A woman inside
Yeah.
a robot. Uh,
Well, it's his covers from here on end.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay. That's the part that I was trying to get to. I totally messed it up. You can edit that out. And make me look smart. I don't know. But DC Comics 1959.
All right, yes. So it's not the first one, is it? It's Adam Strange. This is where he begins in Mystery in Space. We've had seen him before somewhere, haven't we?
Yeah, he was in Showcase.
Oh, right.
Um,
Yes, okay. Yeah, like a lot of these.
and this is also another cool thing. This is from the Christine Farrell collection,
Oh, there it is again.
the complete collection, which
Yeah.
is kind of a cool pedigree. I haven't actually seen her collection performing that well, strangely.
No,
But
well, exactly. We've seen a couple where, to be honest, it's been a bit variable. Sometimes
yeah,
I don't think it's affecting the comic.
yeah, I'm actually a little bit shocked how poorly they're performing. Like they're not performing like pedigrees.
No.
Is yeah, but yeah, but I mean, it's still a cool book.
So great Gil Kane and Bernard Sachs cover here, I think.
Mhm.
You know, people are a bit cruel about Gil Kane. I actually think he's got some great covers.
Actually, this is a book I have to be honest. This is on my want list. I
Yeah.
actually really like this cover and this book. So
Right. So Adam Strange starts his run in Mystery in Space. 7.5 Christine Farrell collection sold for 780.
mhm.
Do you think Alan up, down?
I actually know somebody like Stephen picked this book up really cheaply
Okay.
recently in
Right.
a similar grade. Like I think I want to say almost half that price.
Oh, goodness.
So I think this is a good price for this book, like a strong sale.
It's not.
Well, it's not based on inflation, but look at the line. It's almost steady. It's a
Okay.
flat line.
So, let's take the actual price and ignore inflation. So, it sold in 2024, in 204, 20 years ago, for $948,
Oh, it's actually way down from
and
its.
it sold in real cash terms for $780. So that's ignoring inflation. It's down significantly.
That's brutal.
Now, you know
And it's
what? You
probably
know
because
why?
nobody knows the character.
Nobody
I
knows the
even messed it up.
character. The problem is this is what happens when all the people who used to collect Adam Strange are now dead, apart from Stephen. Sorry,
don't
Stephen.
don't kill Stephen off.
We're
Don't kill Stephen
delighted
off.
you're still alive. You're the only person older than me doing comic shows, so I hope you stay alive a lot longer. But
Mhm.
just be honest. If I talk to the guys around 40 odd, maybe Grey Man knows him because he
Yeah.
collects these sort of strange old DC characters, but most of them won't have a clue.
Yeah, I'm not super like even myself. I'm not super familiar with Adam Strange. I've read a couple issues, but nothing. It's not like I like it's my favorite character ever. Um, it's sad to see this though. This is where this is one of those characters that could easily be brought back. You know what I mean? Like I always feel like there is that
James Gunn could be lying in his bath one day and think,
yeah,
we need a spaceman um,
yeah,
in the DCU. Let's bring back Adam Strange. It's a good name, but
yeah,
the problem is it's a bit like Doctor Strange, isn't it?
yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But it's one of those characters I think that they could easily bring back and you can do a lot with these kind of characters that have been sort of forgotten, where it comes across as being fresh. You know what I mean? It's sort of like Guardians of the Galaxy. Who cared
Yeah.
about Guardians of the Galaxy?
I mean,
Um,
let's be fair. He has got a great costume.
yeah, and I think the stories were cool.
Yeah,
So it's sad to see, it just not performing very well, but a very cool book. I love these robot covers too.
yeah, yeah.
Oh well,
Right.
so
Moving
one
on.
to look for.
See if we can do a bit better than the last two, Alan. Okay. So here we have an old favorite. X-Men. You're going to have me jumping around again now.
Yeah, I like you getting
So
all
this
over
is
the
the
place.
restored one. It's a 4.0 restored, small amount of color touch on the cover.
C1. C1 means amateur minor restoration.
So somebody's got the red Sharpie out and
Basically.
got rid of a few spine ticks.
Yeah, but this is such a cool book. This is X-Men number 4. It's the second appearance of Magneto, first appearance of Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and the League, or is it the
Brotherhood of Evil.
Brotherhood of Evil Mutants? Um, just so many things going on. Um, actually, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, they actually do a branding change later on. But you think about them, and with a lot of the stuff that happens in the X-Men series, it's usually the good mutants versus the evil mutants, right? It's like, those two groups, two different visions of how mutants can fit into the world, right?
Yeah.
One believes that you kill all mankind, which those are the good guys. No, and then those are the bad guys. I'm just joking. And then you got the Doctor, Professor X version where it's like we got to work with humanity and kind of fit in, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's an interesting play. So this is a pretty major book because it sets up that dynamic, right? Um,
The fact that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver changed sides.
yeah. Well, isn't this also the first Toad as well? I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, there he is. He looks
Yeah.
happy.
So a lot of cool characters. This is a big book. I love it actually. I like the fact that Scarlet Witch is wearing green and her name is Scarlet Witch. So that's always good.
Well, they couldn't put her in Scarlet because she'd clash with Magneto,
I know. Inside she's actually wearing red.
is she? So
Yeah.
it's purely a cover thing, so she doesn't meld into Magneto.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. $900
For a 4.0
now.
restored.
So Alan,
Yeah.
so I reckon at a 4.0, and you correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I bought a 4.0 restored big boy book this week. Well,
Okay.
wasn't this one? And I paid about 40% of the non-restored value. Is that
Okay.
about right?
That's about right. I would have said 40 to 50% in this one, in this grade.
Okay.
It really depends on the grade. It's like if it's a
Yeah,
high
no, that's
high
what I'm
grade,
saying. That mine was a four. The one I bought was a 4.0 restored.
okay, 40 to 50% is kind of fair.
So that's okay. Yeah, I thought that
Yeah.
was about right. Yeah. Okay, because it gets as you know at 9.8 it's like about 10%, isn't it? And as you go down the scale, it gets when you get to a 1.0, it hardly makes any difference at all. Right,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
It's
So let's
basically the same at that
have a
price.
look
Yeah.
at this. So theoretically, this should have sold for 400 to 450. Sorry,
Yeah.
no. So theoretically, of unrestored should be
It should have been like 1800,
1800
right?
or 16.
1800, maybe 2000.
Yeah, okay. So let's just check this chart. So it sold about, it seems fairly flat.
what was that peak and what was the last sale?
The peak was 1,000.
Okay, so it's kind of flat to that.
Last sale was 690. So it's in between, it's sort of hovering
So
around.
it hasn't really dropped from the COVID peak, actually. Are
Uh,
you looking? Wait, go to the blue line, the other line. That's the
well, that was 1,000. Yeah. So
yeah. Okay, so this is sort of in line with that peak.
you don't like to take account of inflation for some reason, Alan.
I really the reason this is something I have to explain. Um, I like to keep the raw prices because a lot of collectors think in raw prices. Even though, you gotta actually adjust for inflation in real life, but um collectors don't seem to get it. So they when they see a price just number wise going up,
I suppose it's because I invest in stocks and shares that I
yeah.
know the effect of inflation. I'm perfectly happy buying a share if it gives me a 5% dividend every year and goes up
Mhm.
by 3%. Then I'm a happy bunny. I've got 8% return on my money.
I
I'm not.
wouldn't be too happy the last 2, 3 years with that though.
Yeah,
Inflation's
oh,
like
okay, but
20%.
you know what I mean. If it sort of does that, if it performs to inflation, I'm how to. So I think if you say, well, I paid £1,000 for a comic 20 years ago, and it's still £1,000, happy
Then
result.
yeah, you freak
No,
out.
it's not a happy result.
No. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes I like to look at the raw numbers just for this reason that collectors think in raw numbers.
Collectors go, I paid 1,000 for this. It's still worth 1,000. I'm
You
okay.
know, like, oh, this is like a small complaint about collectors, and like collectors, you guys can get mad at me, but this is something I've noticed with collectors. Okay, so they buy a comic for $100, okay, but they have to pay for shipping, which is
Yeah,
another $20.
yeah,
Then they have the comic in their collection for 20 years or whatever, and they're storing it. So there are actually
yeah,
storage
yeah,
costs,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then they sell it for $150 20 years later, and they're like, I made $50 on this comic. They ignored, and then they ignored the fact that they actually had to ship it out. They ignored that they paid for the shipping in the first place. They ignore the storage fees. They ignore inflation. They ignore like 20 different things where they really lost a pretty sizable amount of money on this comic. But yeah, I'm just saying. It
yeah.
makes people feel good when the number goes
Right.
up,
I
is
think
the
what we
point.
were doing before Alan went off on these hobby horses again was looking to look at the cost of an unrestored, and we're
So,
predict.
but if you look at it though, like back to one other hobby horse thing, sorry, is restored books actually seem to hold their value.
Yes. Well, you've
Oh,
convinced me because I bought one this week for
okay, see, I'm making an impact for evil every moment I can. Okay, so let's go.
Universals. So the Universal for was it 4045?
4040.
Oh, so that's
Did
done
it
better.
outperform it?
Oh, yeah, that's the FMV is 1,150. So
Oh, it's actually
that's a
the
really high
restored one
price.
did better.
That's a really high price for the restored.
That is funny.
That's
That
like
is
about
really funny.
80%.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that high. As I said, 40 to 50% is kind of in a 4.0 is kind of
Yeah,
normal.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Um, that's funny though that it's that high.
You need to whiz out and buy one of these unrestored ones.
Yeah, what you got to do is buy an unrestored one, restore it, and then
Okay,
you can
this
make
fair
some money.
market value's off, Alan. Sometimes this figure is odd, so it's much better to look at the averages over the last period of
Okay,
time.
what's the averages?
So if you look at the sales, the last sale was 1,500 on this, so it's not as far off as we think.
Okay, but I was projecting 1800
Yeah, I
to
know. Yes, it's based
2000.
on 900. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So
this is
it
still
needs.
20%.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, so it's a
right.
big sale. I'd actually say that's a like kind of a like a record. I don't know.
Well, I wonder if it's because of the COVID effects affecting the unrestored,
Mhm.
taking it down too low.
Yeah, I think, when you have that big price differential and people can overcorrect, like, and that's what's maybe happening with these blue labels, that they're overcorrecting And you know, it's a good time to buy the unrestored one
Mm.
in a way. You
You
know,
certainly
this is
can
a
get it for 11.50. I don't know why. It must be some of the other prices at other grades that are causing that FMV.
yeah.
Right.
What's the census on this? I imagine it's fairly high.
Well, yeah, it will be. 3626.
Very standard Marvel
Yeah.
kind of numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Right. Oh, Alan, we got a Richie Rich.
I did find some cool books to put on your list, so don't worry.
I think we
Okay.
have seen this one before. Is this Richie Rich's first title?
Yes, good. You're getting to know your Richie Rich ones.
Because we do have this one with him in a swimming pool.
Yes.
Is that his
That's his first actual ongoing series.
right?
And this is Harvey Hits number 5, I believe.
But he gets his own,
Um,
but he gets his own heading.
yeah, he gets his own heading. It's sort of like sometimes Four Color will do this too,
But
where
this is
they
before the swimming pool one.
yeah, yeah, it is. Um, so this is like kind of like, Four Color will do it too, where they sometimes will name instead of saying Four Color, they'll say it's whatever character, you know,
Yeah,
Uncle
it even
Scrooge or
says
whatever.
here in this little thing here, Richie Rich, number 3.
Hmm. I think it's Harvey Hits number 3 or
And I
5.
know it's Harvey Hits number 3, but if you look at the little box here,
I know it says Richie Rich, but it's not Richie Rich number
oh, it says
three.
Harvey
It's
Hits at the top. So it's
Yeah, it's Harvey Hits. For some reason I was thinking number 5.
yeah,
I actually had the book right in front of me,
first
but
book devoted to Richie Rich.
mhm. And it's a file copy.
It's the file copy.
I love that. I love file copies personally. I think they're really cool. I feel like it adds an extra little layer of history to the book.
Sure.
So yeah. But yeah, so 2286, but it's a really high grade. I
It's
actually
nice.
think that this is undervalued. I think
I,
this is
I don't.
actually
I
going to be down.
think there's going to be a higher grade than this.
No, I think that this is going to be because I think I paid around like I want to say 500 to 1,000 for mine. I forgot what it was, but mine's much lower grade. I think this is going to be a low price,
Okay,
strangely.
it is a low price.
Mm,
Right. So even using the non-inflation increased prices over a
hmm.
period of 20 years, this has gone from 4,700 to
Wow.
3.5 to 3.6 to 2.6, and now we're at 2.2. So it's halved its value over 20 years.
Yeah.
That's
And there's a bunch of reasons for that, actually. Richie Rich is one of those characters, it's kind of fading out of the collective consciousness.
yeah.
There was a TV series like a few years back, um, but it's not as popular of a character as it once was.
Well, it wouldn't be politically correct, I don't think.
I think it's reasonably, like yeah, I don't know. Uh, I used to just remember seeing like whenever you go like to the grocery store, I used to remember seeing like Richie Rich and like some Donald Ducks or some kind of like those kind of Disney-ish books. Always at the like next to the candy as you're checking out, and
Perhaps if you rename him Money Musk, and relaunch him, then
yeah, I
he
think
could
we
do
need more
crazy. He could
Richie
do
Rich.
crazy things like launch his own space rocket and things like that.
I loved Richie Rich. Richie Rich is fun. Like he always goes on these adventures. Money is not an option, so they can do whatever crazy thing that they want. I love that. It's just like, pure freedom in terms of whatever crazy idea you wanted to do, you could do. In
Yeah,
a way, it was better than Uncle Scrooge for that. Because Uncle Scrooge is always penny pinching, right?
yeah. Uncle Scrooge wouldn't build a rocket to go to the moon.
Yeah. But Richie Rich will do whatever crazy thing. Um it made it fun. I actually like that about
This
Richie
is
Rich.
another one like the Adam Strange. He's disappearing from the modern consciousness.
Yeah.
So anybody below I bet you nobody below the age of 30 would know who we're talking. My kids certainly would not know who I was talking about.
Oh, that's very sad. That's very sad. I love Richie Rich. He's a very cool character. I have very fond memories of Richie Rich. That's why I picked this book up, because I think it's cool.
Yeah, well. You're
What's the census count on it? I bet it's really low.
75.
Yeah,
Yeah.
such a cool book. Undervalued. Um,
I don't think it's going up anytime soon.
Now I'm gonna create a campaign. Richie Rich Awareness Week. So yeah, so it
This
should
will
be
not
good.
be on my, even though this is now at a record low, this will not be on my spec books for next year.
I don't recommend it. Um, yeah, but it's a cool book. I don't know. I like it. So
Yeah, I would need some persuading to pay. If I found it in a lot for fiver, I'd be happy, but I'm not going out and paying anything.
this is again one of those ones that you will find these kind of major books in the back issue bins because like sometimes people don't kind of recognize them.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's a good one to know about is
yeah, it
at
is.
least. Yeah.
Right, now we're on to more solid ground here, Alan. And a pesky arachnid. It's a nice pesky arachnid. That I'll let you off this one because I
Mhm.
do like this cover. I think this is my favorite Craven cover.
This is one of the better Craven covers.
And look at the grade on this.
Like 9.8 white pager. That's so awesome.
Well, that must be the highest grade. I can't believe there's a 9. Look how neat that staple is. It
I know.
hardly looks like it's touched the comic, does it?
It's
Um,
this is like brand new, brand spanking new version of this comic.
wow.
Yeah.
Right, 4,320.
I don't expect good things for this, but this is a cool book. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be down.
Did you see the 8-minute trailer for the new Craven film?
No. Oh, I saw bits of it.
Yeah, there's a full. They've issued the first 8 minutes of the film as a sort of teaser.
I think the director has been kind of very vocal about, and this is something interesting. I haven't really seen this much in an honest way. I feel like he's being honest that he's saying, this is actually a good movie, people. Please come and watch it. Whereas I feel like a lot of the movies, like they kind of fakely say that, and like, you can tell that they're not really being honest and because the movies do suck. But I really feel like Craven might actually be a
Well,
good movie.
I quite like the first 8 minutes, and it's probably persuaded me to go and see it. So that would be the
Yeah,
first.
I'll definitely go see it.
I know, but you
So
go and see all the bad ones as well. So
yeah, that's true. I actually
I
haven't
usually
gone to
wait
the
for you
last
to
few
tell me
movies that
whether
came
it's
out.
worth going to see or not.
Okay, well,
But I'll probably go and see this one anyway.
when does it come out? It's soon, isn't it?
It is, yes, it's in December sometime, so it must be in a
Well,
week.
we're in December now, so.
Yeah, well, they've issued the first 8 minutes, so it must be imminent.
Hmm.
Right, so let's see how this one did. It might be a good time to buy. Ooh, looks like it is. So
Is
it
that the score? Is
that's
that the one?
that's the one 4320. I think that was it, wasn't it?
Yep, that's it. 4320. Yep.
So it's down on the last few sales. It's
And what was that
it's
peak sale?
almost at the pre-COVID price.
What's the pre-COVID price? 43.
Do you want the inflated or
No,
uninflated?
I want yeah.
Raw 37.
Okay, so it's slightly above pre-COVID.
Yes,
And what's the COVID price?
66.
Oof. So it's down 50%.
Yeah, but compare that to Avengers 8.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. You're comparing the worst. You might as well pick out Eternals 1 next, Um,
That's one. That's another contender for the worst performing comic in the last 3 years.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So you know, I feel bad for this book. I feel bad when books like get killed by a bad spec. Um, I actually think if the movie is as good as the director kind of seems to hint that it is, this book could actually go up. This
Yeah,
could be
no,
actually a good time to buy
I
it.
think this will prove to be a good buy because I think
Hmm.
people are thinking the movie is going to be bad. I think everybody I've talked to likes the first 8 minutes. So,
Yeah.
I think more people are going to go and see it. And I think it
Mhm.
might be one of these word of mouth things saying, you know, that Craven movie, it's not our.
Actually, not too bad. You know, a sleeper hit can actually be something really awesome. Like if it becomes one of those books, one of those movies that people say, "Hey, you know, that can go watch that Craven movie," and it sort of gradually builds momentum that way. It could be a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Um, what's the census on this one?
Mind you, I thought the Mobius film, the first 8 minutes were pretty good as well. And then it all went down.
Oh, Mobius. Oh, that movie. If you just left the theater, say, oh, for whatever reason, left the theater midway,
Yeah, you'd be all
you would
right.
actually think it's a good movie. It just fell apart. It just like I don't know, like what happened at the end. It
I
just
don't know.
totally fell apart.
Right. Okay. Last comic of
Oh,
the
wait. Before you quickly do that, what's the
census.
census on it? I always like to know the census.
2345. So
Okay, a little lower, but not too bad.
yeah.
Sort of standard Marvelish.
Right. So on to the final comic, and it is our old bellwether favorite, Amazing Fantasy 15 with our favorite spider creature.
And it's
Uh,
a nice one, actually. Nice presenting
it's
one, I
very
think.
look well. It's got a lot of Marvel chipping. I think that's what's going to make it a
Oh,
three.
really? Like from the just a small image, it didn't look that bad. But
Oh,
oh yeah, you're right. It's not. And oh, it has a big,
big
a
crease
big.
across here.
Is that a big piece of
I
tape?
mean, it's chipped almost entirely down the.
I'm surprised this got a 3.0, by the way. If it has that big slice in it.
It's got sellotape across here.
Yeah, I mean that's a big cut into the comic.
Yeah, this has
Well,
done what.
I didn't get this a 3. It's more like a
I
2-ish.
know. Oh,
Okay.
anyway,
Somebody paid the graders off. Okay.
the grader had a good morning with his missus before he went to work. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, origin and first appearance of Spider-Man, who is Peter Parker, if anybody didn't know.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah. First
This is the
appearance.
first appearance of Spider-Man? All
Yeah.
this time I never knew. Okay, just joking. I'm being silly. Okay.
Alan, I know your concussion's still going, but it's not that.
And
Right. First appearance of Uncle Ben and Aunt May. Right. So now,
an
when we
iconic
last looked
cover
at
too.
this, the prices on these had bottomed out and were steady. Okay.
Yeah. That was the last time.
So let's see if this is still steady, whether it's going
I
up
think
or
it's
it
slightly down even more,
started falling
sadly.
again. It
I
started
remember it
falling
being
again,
around
Alan. It
20.
started falling again. This
It,
now is at the price 19,200. So you got to
Still
go.
above pre-COVID.
It's about, well, that at August 2020, which is pre-COVID, 19,000.
Okay, still like technically still above pre-COVID.
Well, okay, not much.
Technically, not much. Yeah, I remember a 3.0 copy selling it like a couple months ago for around 20 something. So
So
this
it
is,
looked as if it had steadied here.
yeah, it didn't quite make it. It's still dropping.
So if when we were in sort of no, oh well, this was only a few months ago. So from
Yeah,
June to November, this was a £30,000 comic.
really, it was up to 30,000 then.
Yeah. Yeah. It was steadying. If you remember, we talked about this.
Yeah, we talked
Then
about it
it
was
dropped,
steadying.
and then it was a £25,000 comic for about 3 months.
Uh-huh.
And now it's a £20,000 comic.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. So, um, my copy, like mine's a green label, and I paid 12 for mine. Okay. And typically green labels go for about half. So I think now I'm now in the water under the water for
You think
mine.
you're underwater, mate? You could be.
Yeah. It should be like if it's around that 24,000, then I'm okay. But if it's below that, then I'm screwed. So this one is like very sad to see actually.
Right. Okay. Oh dear. I don't know what to say to all you arachnid people.
I'd say
Um,
buy it. You know, I think you're gonna. I think it might even drop down to 18, which would be really brutal for this book.
I mean,
But
let's remind
let's be a
ourselves.
little bit
Let's
honest about
remind
this.
ourselves that some poor person paid $53,000 for this 2 years ago.
But we should be honest about this particular copy. this copy with that big tear, the tape thing, the chipping might it might be one of those ones where it's underperforming for those reasons. Like there's better 3.0s is the point. So maybe that's being taken into account as well. That maybe if it was just a nicer presenting copy, it'd sell for more like that 24,000, which would make me okay.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Alan, I'll agree with you.
What was the previous sale? Just quickly.
24.
24. See? Um, so it could be that effect. That just this ugly tape.
Ugly tape. Okay.
Mhm.
In reality, so that ugly tape has cost it $5,000.
Basically.
Okay. Right. Um, okay. So it's not been another brilliant week, has it, really?
Well, we had like if you look at my list,
Well, yeah, we
you know,
had two comics that never been graded, never been seen before that
and
were
we had a couple that were sort of, steady, didn't really drop that much.
well,
So
we
yeah,
did. Yeah. Yeah.
so it wasn't a bad list.
Yeah.
Okay, the sky is falling, but it's not falling that fast. Okay.
So it remains a buyer's market. I think it's probably going to for another few months yet. Uh,
Yeah.
Next year could be, let's fingers crossed. We've got relaunch of Superman. We've got relaunch of the Fantastic Four. Uh,
Hmm.
so we've got a few things going for us next year. It's been a
You should
relatively,
watch my video. I actually like as we're recording this,
yeah,
my video has come out already now.
saying the same
Um,
thing.
where I'm talking about that I predict that it's going to go from a buyer's market to a seller's market in the next 10 months.
All right, well, I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, we can hold me to it. I'm pretty confident about that.
Okay, hang on to your comics, guys. Uh,
Hmm.
Alan thinks the market's going up. We haven't seen it yet.
Hmm.
So keep hold of those amazing Arachnid comics
For a few more months.
for a few more months. It is not all doom and gloom. You might be able to sell them for $35,000 again in a few months, according to Alan. Right.
I didn't say that, but I think it won't. I don't think it will be as much a buyer's market as my point.
Okay. You think it's going to go up a bit? I think it will
Hmm.
as well, because I think if the Superman movie is good, that'll have an
There's
effect.
like so many things that have changed in the last few months, even that make a big difference.
Yeah.
I really do feel that things are changing.
The Agatha series went down well. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just watched what's it called? The new Star Wars one. The Skeleton Crew, and it's not bad.
Okay. I'll
So
give
there's
it
hope, is
this.
my point. They're actually trying to produce good stuff again, which is which is unusual.
And Sony could actually produce a good live action movie, which I don't think they've ever done before. Oh,
They actually
I'm sorry,
Venom did
ignoring the
well.
Spider-Man films, all the ancillary ones they've done have not been any good.
Venom did well.
Who
Venom
did
made over
well?
$1 billion.
I know, but it got awful reviews.
I know. I haven't even watched it. Like I was just gonna say, like I didn't watch everything that just came
I
out.
know it's actually done quite well at the box office, hasn't it? What
Yeah,
is that? I don't understand that.
I don't know. I think it's because of no. Like you get all the geeks like that are gonna come out and it's no. It's awesome. So, I think there is that excitement. It's Null's kind of the big is the Thanos for Spider-Man, if you think about it. He's like or Venom, I should say. But yeah. I don't know. It did really well. So yeah, there's some hope, is my point. If we can get back to the days of every Marvel movie being $1 billion movie, that changes things, you know. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to Sandman season two, which is also coming out in the new year. That sounds really awesome.
I actually really enjoyed the first season.
I
So
really enjoyed the first season, and they're really hyping up the second season, saying it's better.
okay. There was one episode of that was that I really enjoyed. The guy that lived forever. I really enjoyed that episode. I thought it was like
Oh,
one
that
of
one's a really good story. Yes, he's
yeah,
like the
just so
wandering.
great.
I think he's the wandering Jew from history who just carries on living, and yeah, and they keep
Hmm.
meeting at the same pub every couple.
Yeah.
years, and all the
Yeah, yeah,
costumes change, and his luck
yeah.
changes. Sometimes he's rich and prosperous.
Sometimes he's just destitute and like, but he always loves life.
Yeah,
I just think that that celebration of life, I think, is really missing
yeah, because it's a
from
bit of a turnaround on that story. Because usually when you get stories about people who live together, live forever,
Live Forever.
the
They're
message is
depressed and
they're
wanting to
depressed,
die,
bored,
and
and actually want to die. Whereas this guy, no, 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 I'm still
I'm
enjoying.
pretty happy go lucky. Yeah, it's awesome. I really like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. That's a good one. So yeah, I guess that's it for this week though.
Right.
Before we babble too much.
We'll see you again next week with more of our babble. So long from me, and so long from
Me.
that's your lot.